How healthy is your heart? Today's video is about a holistic approach to a healthy heart. I'm Waxéla Sananda. Thank you for joining me today. So I watched a video the other day, and it was a doctor speaking about things to keep your heart healthy. And they were all foods to either eat or avoid, and certain exercise, things like that. And while I appreciated all of that information, and it was good information, there was something really, really crucial that I felt was left out of it. All dis-ease in the body begins as something that is outside the body, as an energy that hasn't been processed or that hasn't been properly worked through. And so it starts out as turmoil, as turbulence, as chaos. And if it's not worked out and worked through, and sometimes it's subconscious and we can't even help it, but if it's not properly dealt with, then it gets into the body and becomes dis-ease. And there's always a spiritual, emotional, and mental aspect to any disease. So while the physical things are important, it's also important not to overlook where that dis-ease came from. So one of the things in keeping your heart healthy and not getting to the point of disease, and if you're already there, then this is something very helpful. And if you're doing this preventatively, then awesome, even better. The number one thing to keep your heart healthy is forgiveness. And I know I've talked about this extensively in the past because it is so important. And a few things have really shown up for me lately about what we do as humans and how we sort of give ourselves permission to stay in a resentful place or to feel victimized, even in the subtlest way, and then to hold on to that, to hoard these resentments, to hoard our unforgiving nature and feel accurate about it, feel like it's appropriate, but it is not appropriate. And so I'm the voice here today that is saying it's time to take assessment. Where are you holding on to unforgiving? Where are you holding on to those resentments? And are you willing to let go of them in order to be healthy, to have a healthy heart, to be light-hearted? Literally, the lightness of heart comes from clearing and allowing yourself to forgive, letting go of past resentments and allowing yourself to feel forgiveness, to truly forgive so that you can give as before and that you can give to yourself as before. Because forgiveness is not for the other person. Great for the other person, but it's for you. And it's for your body and it's for your lightness of being. Your mood will lighten, your energy will lighten, and you will feel lighter. So you may have heard me talk about Anubis. I have an incredible video that I did a while back about Anubis. Actually, I think I've done several of them. I'll put one up here. And Anubis is a race of beings, actually, that has come to me many times and is part of my guidance system now. And Anubis is known for holding the heart and the feather. He's got a scale, and on one side's a heart, and on another side is a feather. And Anubis is always weighing the heart against the feather. And ultimately, what does that mean? That means that he's the guardian of the underworld. So in order to pass to the next world, and in order to pass to the higher realms where we'd all prefer to go, I think, your heart must be lighter than a feather. So what that means is you have done the work to forgive. You have done the work to let go of resentment. You have freed your heart. You have freed yourself from the burdens of your past, from the traumas of your past. You have done that work, and now your heart is lighter than the feather, and then you may cross into the higher dimensions of reality. Isn't that beautiful? And that's what it means. So holding on to resentments and victimized feelings is hard on you. It's hard on your body. It's hard on your heart. You're not going to be allowed, I guess we could say, we're not going to be allowed to go to the higher dimensions when you're mired in resentment. And so the intention today is to bring your awareness to where do you have resentments? Who from your past have you not forgiven? Who, and this is a great moment right now to just take out a piece of paper, put this on pause, and write down anyone that you can think of that you haven't forgiven. Could be your parents, could be something an ex-lover did, could be, something you're hanging on to that when you think of that person, if you don't think of them and feel light and joyful, then you're probably holding on to something. Are you able? Are you ready? I know you're able to, but are you ready to forgive, knowing that that forgiveness is for yourself? So when you can find these energies that are less than light and spotlight them, put a spotlight on them and do an inventory. Okay, what is it from my past that I'm holding on to? And realize this has been damaging my ability to uplift, my ability to ascend my frequency in my body. This is getting in my way of my relationships with other people. This is causing chaos in my field. When you can hone in on what that is and where it came from, the next step then is to go into a forgiveness process. And, if it's too hard to forgive that person themselves in their personality, then you can take a step up and forgive their higher self that knows all, because they're playing a role in your life. Whatever happened, whatever went down that caused the turmoil, the trauma, the upset, the pain, it happened for you. And I know, like horrific things have happened to people. I realize that. I'm not immune from that myself, but I can look at it and say, all right, that happened for me so that I could feel this and experience this and then work through this and have the experience of forgiving that person and letting that go. And now here's the way that if the work is done, if you've gotten to that point of clarity. If you can think of that person that did you wrong and you can truly feel goodness for them and wish them well on their journey, bless them on their journey. If you can do that and feel that truth in your heart, I bless you on your journey. I forgive you for whatever happened, and feel that upliftment, then your work is done. Then you've done it, and congratulations, because I know it can be very difficult to do this. And I don't expect you to be able to do this on your first try if you've never done it before, but to start practicing this. If you want to ascend, and so many people write to me, how do I ascend? And I teach embodied ascensions. This is ascending in the body. This isn't about getting out of the body. And in embodied ascension, ascending the body, you're doing the shadow work. You're doing the hard stuff. And here's why, because then when you come to that point of crossing over, or when you're finished with this body, and you pass Anubis on your way to the other world, or any version of what Anubis might represent to you, the judgment, you're judging yourself. Anubis is an aspect of you judging you. You're looking at your life. Did I do that work to forgive? Did I clear my heart of sadness and pain and trauma and resentment? And you are judging you. And if you see that you did that work, then guess what? You get clearance to go to the next level, your next highest level. But if you didn't do that work, you get to come back and keep practicing. And that's not bad or wrong, but if you're like me, I'm ready for that next level, that level up. And so why not do the work now? Now that you have the tools, now that you're aware of what's needed, you're never too old to start that practice. And what's amazing about it is you will transform in the experience. You will, as you let go of those resentments, as you truly choose to forgive, you forgive yourself and you feel the upliftment of that. You feel the ascension in this body. And it's more fun to be here then. And this is shadow work. This is looking at our own shadow and acknowledging it and working through it. It's, this spiritual work isn't always easy. In fact, quite often it's not, but it's worth it. It's definitely worth it because of where you will get to and how you will feel. I have these fun crows playing. There are two of them just swooping around up in the sky in front of my window. So I keep looking up there and watching them. They're really cute. So this morning I was listening to The Game of Life and How to Play It by Florence Scovel Shinn. You can find it on YouTube for free and listen. And it's something I do now and then. I turn that on and listen to it. And there's just so many wonderful things. I think she wrote it in 1925. There's so many universal truths in there. And I really love to brush up on that work now and then to remind me of the way that she operated and just such great things that she shares. I highly recommend it. One of the things that she talked about and what I was listening to this morning is correcting a past wrongdoing. So something that you have created karma for yourself from in the past, that maybe it happened with someone that's deceased or someone that you don't have contact with anymore. And you can actually correct a past wrongdoing of your own, something that you did wrong to someone else. And maybe you're carrying some guilt around it. It's equally important to forgive yourself and to take an action to forgive yourself. And this is a powerful way to do it. So the way it works is you remember, whatever that is, you bring it up. You're like, oh yeah, I did this thing. I wish I hadn't done that person that way. And now I want to correct that wrong. And so with the intention of clearing that karma, you will do an act of kindness for someone else. And it's an act that is appropriate, an appropriate corrective act to right something that you've done wrong in your past. And I know these are judgmental words, but for the sake of karma, they kind of work here. So you're looking at your past, your history, find the places where, okay, I did that person wrong. If you can call that person up and apologize, do that. I mean, that's the greatest way to fix something with someone. But if that person's out of your life, you don't have contact, they're deceased, whatever it is, then the next best thing you can do is do a kindness, do an act of grace for another person, maybe somebody in need, maybe some random stranger, whatever it is, but to you and in your heart, it's a corrective act. Maybe it's an act of loving kindness and just saying nice words, or giving something to someone who's in need, or doing a favor for someone, or going above and beyond somewhere in your life where you're making that statement to the divine, to divine grace, and bringing order to that chaos that you created in the past. And you can correct your wrongs that way. You can correct the things that happened in your past and have a lighter heart, a greater forgiveness of self because of it. And so this is part of your forgiveness work. We aren't always the victim. Sometimes we're the perpetrator. Sometimes we do somebody wrong. Sometimes it's not even intentional, and sometimes it is. I mean, we've all done things, right? We've lived these human lives. We all have moments, right? So this is a way that we can correct past karmas, past wrongdoings. Maybe it was even an unintentional thing that led to something that you didn't mean to have happen. We make mistakes, and when we know better, we do better. So here is the active way of doing better for someone else with the intention of correcting a past karma, and see how that works. Try that out. It can be, this is from the book that I listened to this morning, the Frances Scovel Shinn book. This is one of her prescriptions that she recommended to one of her clients. And I thought, what a beautiful thing. I'm going to share that with you. And I thought it was really relevant to today's topic. So I will end there. Let me know how it goes. Give me a thumbs up, like in the comments. Let me know if you have a comment about, something you've tried from this video or some experience. Maybe you've done something like this in the past. Let me know how it went for you. And I appreciate you listening. I'm Waxéla Sananda. I love you. I cherish you. Namaste.